An animation of the Fish and Wildlife Service shield icon. An animation of the Bureau of Land Management icon.
Welcome!
Two park employees wave in front of the Ash Meadows Visitor Center.
Bienvenidos, I am Lety and I'm a park ranger for Sloan Canyon National Conservation Area.
Sloan Canyon's logo is displayed.
And I'm Adamas. I'm a park ranger here at Ash Meadows National Wildlife Refuge, here on the ancestral homelands of the Nuwuvi and Nuwu peoples, perhaps some of your neighbors.
A text displays, Nuwuvi and Nuwu have cared for this land for thousands of years.
And we are here today for our Bird Beak Buffet Challenge.
That's right. We're going to learn about the exciting world of bird beaks. First, we're going to get our hands on with some creepy skulls and learn why bird beaks are so diverse. Second, we're going to pretend to be those birds in our kitchen and play around with kitchen tools to understand how bird beaks are shaped based upon their food source. And finally, we are going to become engineers, and we're going to invent something new based on the bird beaks that we just learned about.
Well, I'm excited. Let's go.
Title card reads, Tools for Survival. Lety and Adamas stand in front of a white wall.
Hey, Lety, I got kind of a crazy question for you. So, have you ever wondered what it would be like? Like, say you only had one tool to use for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but it was always the wrong tool.
This sounds like a nightmare I once had. Awful.
A sepia-tone video of Lety sitting in the desert.
Like, what if you had grapefruit for breakfast, but all you had was a spoon?
Lety holds a grapefruit and smiles. A spoon appears in Lety's hand. She tries to cut the fruit, fails, and frowns.
Or a refreshing salad, but all you had was a knife.
Lety holds a bowl of salad and a knife. The salad flies everywhere she tries to eat it.
Or you had your delicious abuela soup, but all you had was a fork.
Lety holds a bowl of soup and smiles. A fork appears in her hand. As she lifts it, soup falls through the prongs. She frowns. Lety and Adamas stand in front of a white wall.
Enough. I am getting stressed out thinking about this. It would take a gazillion years to eat like that. I would not survive.
Exactly, and neither would a bird, because while some birds like crows do use tools,
A photo of a crow using a twig is displayed.
most birds depend on whatever beak they were born with to eat every meal for the rest of their life.
Text displays. Beaks equal survival tools.
To survive, birds need to be adapted to the foods that they eat.
Text displays. Adaptation. A physical trait or behavior that allows a species to better survive in their home.
And birds eat a lot of different foods, so they need to have a diversity of beaks.
Text displays. Diversity. The existence of differences within and between groups.
So let's take a look.
A table appears with 6 bird skulls.
Wow, look at all these different skulls. They're so different from each other.
Skulls are displayed close up, moving from left to right.
We've got one that's round and one that's kind of long, a really narrow one, a curved one, a really pointy one, and all because these birds must eat different foods. You know, Lety, you watch birds. I'm curious, can you help us identify what bird each of these skulls belong to and what kind of food they eat?
Well, I don't want to give everything away. What about I give all of you the tools to be able to identify what birds belong to each of these skulls? So,
How
let's do it.
so?
Well, we're going to go eat some yummy foods and see if we can find the tools that work for each food.
Oh, that sounds really delicious and exciting. I can't wait.
Awesome. Let's go.
Title card reads, The Buffet Challenge.
All right, welcome to our Bird Beak Buffet.
6 skulls, 5 bowls, and 5 tools lay across the table.
here we have 5 meals. We have orange juice in a bottle. We have a grapefruit in a bowl. We have some little snacks inside of a bowl. We have apples in water and some little leafy vegetables inside of water. And then we also have 5 tools and 5 or so skulls. So we want to see which of these tools match with which of these foods. And then we're going to make an educated guess and figure out which of these skulls match one of these combinations. So let's give it a try.
Text displays goals. Match the skulls with their look-alike tools and identify the bird skulls.
Yeah, I can't wait. This all looks so delicious, and I can't wait to figure out what bird these are based on the tools and the foods they match with. So it looks like we've got our first 3 meals are representing like desert, like Mojave Desert shrubland, and then we have these 2 that represent more like wetlands, like some of them that we have here at Ash Meadows. And it looks like we've got 5 different tools: a tweezer, scissors, skewers, a straw, and tongs. Let's start with this one. This is juice that's supposed to represent nectar in a flower.
Which tool would you use?
Adamas attempts to drink juice from a water bottle with each tool.
It takes way too long. What about...
The straw works.
That works.
That really hit the spot. Now I'm not so angry anymore.
Is that what y'all chose? Because that's great. So the straw works with the nectar. So which of these skulls do you think would match with this combination?
6 beaks are displayed on the table. A flat, wide beak, a long, narrow beak, a tiny needle beak, a short, hooked beak, a large, thick beak, and a large, pointy beak.
Oh, yes. That's right.
Lety holds the tiny, round beak.
So this skull is the one that we match with this combination. So we know the skull, we know the meal, and the tool. Which bird do you think it matches? What is this species?
Teeny tiny skull that has a straw-like beak that would drink nectar. Is it the hummingbird?
Adamas holds a photo of a hummingbird beak inside a flower.
Is that the one you guessed?
That's right. Well, hummingbirds have these specialized tiny straw-like beaks that let them dip into little flowers and drink the nectar.
An image of the skull, straw, photo, and flower drawing. Text reads, Anna's hummingbird, needle-like beak for sipping nectar from flowers.
And these little birds are extraordinary because they're so tiny, yet they can survive so well in all the environments out here. And you will find them out in all of the Mojave Desert. So what an exciting find.
That's cool. Every time I use a straw now, Lety, I'm going to remember you and the hummingbird and how they can pollinate the flowers by drinking these delicious sweet things. All right, so second meal. Looks like, again, we're in the shrubland, and we've got this grapefruit that's supposed to be like a rabbit. It's like got this thick skin.
What tool would you use to break this open?
Adamas attempts to peel open the grapefruit with each tool.
Let's see.
Take ears.
The skewers pierce the skin.
Oh, that doesn't help too much, though. This one?
The scissors cut open the peel.
Whoa. Look at that.
Oh, I see a little blood coming out of there.
Yeah, it's really tore through the flesh and got to the insides.
Is that the tool you chose? Well, that's great. Now, if we know that the scissors work the best with a grapefruit or jackrabbit, which school of these do you think match this combination?
5 beaks remain on the table: a flat, wide beak, a long, narrow beak, a short, hooked beak, a large, thick beak, and a large, pointy beak.
This one? This one? Yes, this one.
Letty holds the short, hooked beak and shows how it can cut the peel.
Well, did you see there? They have a hook-like beak that works perfectly to catch onto that and take everything outside of that little meal. So great choice. Now, what kind of bird would have this skull?
A bird that has a hooked shaped beak that eats meat and tears them apart. Starting to have flashbacks of Jurassic Park.
Well, if you chose the red-tailed hawk, you're correct.
Adamas holds a photo of a hawk ripping apart roadkill. Text displays red-tailed hawk, sharp, hooked beak for tearing away meat.
The red-tailed hawk has specialized hooked beaks and sharp claws that let them rip open the skin of animals.
An image of the skull, scissors, photo, and rabbit drawing.
And be able to take up little pieces of that meat and gobble them down. They also have, as you can see in this awesome beak or this awesome skull, they have these forward-facing eyes that help them narrow down what their prey is and go in there and catch their meal. So that's a scary one.
Next time I eat a grapefruit, I'm going to have a whole different experience thinking about that hawk. All right, meal 3. Looks like we've got all these noodles in here that are supposed to represent fast little lizards and insects.
Which tool would you use?
Adamas attempts to eat noodles using the skewers, tongs, and tweezers.
Kind of works. Kind of slips out real fast. What about? Ooh, I bet these are awesome. Yeah. Oh, this one kind of slips away. We can get some. What about this? You think this one?
The tweezers.
Oh wow! Look at that. It just picks them up like real fast. Huh?
Is that the tool you chose? Because that's correct. So if we have this combination here, the tweezers and the little snacks, which of these beaks would you think would work best?
4 beaks remain on the table: a flat, wide beak, a long, narrow beak, a large, thick beak, and a large, pointy beak.
For this meal. This one? That's right. Yes.
Letty holds the long, narrow beak.
This is the skull that would work best. As you can see, it has little tiny sharp beak that allows it to hold on to little meals like that. That's great. But we can only see the skull, and if I'm not a skull expert, do you know what bird this is?
Bird looks like it's maybe this tall. I imagine like trying to catch insects and lizards with that long, thin beak. It would have to be really fast. A fast bird that lives in the desert.
Have you seen it? Because I have. This is one of the most amazing birds out here, the Roadrunner.
Adamas holds a photo of a lizard caught in a roadrunner's beak. Text displays greater roadrunner, long, sharp beak for grabbing fast animals on the run.
And I'm sure you've seen the show, but this Roadrunner absolutely loves eating insects and lizards and sometimes even small rodents.
An image of the skull, tweezers, photo, and lizard drawing.
And they use this tiny specialized beak to help them catch those things. How amazing is that?
Wow. Now whenever I like take out a splinter from my finger, I'm going to think, meat me. All right, let's take a look. We got a 4th meal. These are in the wetlands. All right, well this one, I don't know if you can see, there's water in here. This represents big fish. There's these chunks of apples.
Which tool do you think would work best for this one?
Adamas picks up some apple slices with the tongs.
I mean, this one looks like obvious. Like, you can get that one, the same one. Oh, and it's just coming up empty, beaked here. What about? These are chopsticks. Or
Adamas spears apple slices with the skewers.
whoa, that was cool. Oh man, this one's a lot more fun and effective than even that one.
Is this the tool you chose? Because that's right. The skewers work the best for this one, but what is the school that belongs to this combination? Have you thought about that?
3 beaks remain on the table: a flat, wide beak, a large, thick beak, and a large, pointy beak.
This one? Great!
Lety holds the large, pointy beak and shows how it can spear apples.
As you can see, this looks so much more like the skewers than the other beaks. And this can easily catch one of these little apple slices or fish. But the most important part is, what is the species or the bird that has this beak?
So it looks like a pretty big bird. I'm guessing this bird's like almost as tall as me and just has to live in the water, but has to be pretty tall to be able to spear a fish. What's a tall bird that lives in the water?
Well, if you thought the great blue heron, you're right.
Adamas holds a photo of a fish impaled on a heron's beak. Text displays: Great blue heron, long pointy beak for spearing and pinching animals.
The great blue heron has this specialized long spear-like beak and a long neck that allows it to just sneak attack onto its prey.
An image of the skull, skewers, photo, and wetland drawing.
And it also has long legs that allows it to wade through the water creepily while it looks for its prey. How awesome is that?
Wow.
This brings me back to Jurassic Park, like you said.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, just talk about bobbing for apples or fish. Maybe that's where people learn to spear fish. All right, so our final meal. I guess we only have this one tool left.
Adamas holds tongs.
It's kind of obvious. So this represents algae and like grass and stuff in a pond. Let's check this out. Wow, I got almost everything in one big swoop. So I'd say this probably is the champion, but just to be sure, let's test out a couple other ones.
Adamas tries the skewers and scissors.
Let's see the heron. Maybe a little bit.
A little bit.
Or I don't know, like scissors.
We would just cut it into pieces.
Huh.
Would not work.
So I'd say definitely this one.
Well, that's right. That's right. And although, this one could definitely carry on fish as well, it's mostly specialized for this. But we haven't chosen the skull that belongs to this one. And we have 2 skulls left and only 1 meal. Which skull is it?
2 beaks remain on the table: a flat, wide beak and a large, thick beak.
This one? You're right! Yes, and as you can see, it has this very scoop-like bill, just like the scooper.
Lety holds the flat, wide beak next to the tongs.
They're actually pretty similar, as you see, and this allows them to really scoop up anything that it has, whether it is algae or insects or fish. So actually, this one could also come over here and scoop this up, but these are a little too big. But most importantly, what bird is this?
So a bird that lives in a wetland with a flat-like bill that would eat algae and grass. No, I swear I've seen this bill somewhere before.
And you totally have. Any guesses? That's right, the mallard.
Adamas holds a photo of algae hanging from a mallard's beak. Text displays mallard, flat, wide beak for scooping up a variety of foods.
Mallards are one of the most common birds in the United States. They love the water. I'm sure if you've gone to a pond or you've gone to a lake, you've seen a mallard before. And these mallards, the males have a green head and the females have a brown head.
An image of the skull, tongs, photo, and pond drawing.
And they really love hanging out in water, scooping up the algae, and they also scoop up insects and fish, like we said before about this cool scoop. Great job!
The camera zooms in and moves left to right, displaying each combination of beak, tool, photo, food, and drawing.
Huh. Wow, Letty, this has been so delicious and I've learned so much. I can't believe, again, just how diverse all of these beaks are because they're all specialized in a different way to eat certain foods. That just amazes me.
Text displays. Bird beaks are survival tools adapted to their food source.
Well, I know I'm getting hungry just looking at all this. Would you like to join me in the Clean Plate Club?
Yes, claro, let's go.
All right.
Lety and Adamas lift foods up to their mouths.
Yeah.
Title card reads Review. Lety and Adamas stand in front of the Ash Meadows Visitor Center.
Letty, we've learned so much from you today. I'm so happy we could join you and you showed us your Bird Beak Buffet. Just to review, we learned about how birds have a variety of different beaks because of the variety of different foods that they need to eat. And two, how those bird beaks are like survival tools that allow birds to eat specific foods for the purpose of survival in their particular environments. You know what? I'm so fascinated with birds and their adaptations now. I'd love to learn more. Is there something else we can do?
Well, if all of you are interested, you should come bird watching or birding with me out in the Mojave Desert. Check out our website for other videos called the Bird and Binoculars video.
Text displays. More videos at fws.gov/refuge/desert.
And you'll be able to learn all about the birds.
Oh, that's so awesome. And you know what? I just came up with another idea.
Ooh, what is it?
Remember that weird question I asked you before about what would you do if you only had one tool to eat all of your meals with, but it was always the wrong one?
Please don't remind me.
Well, Letty, we're humans. That means we can invent our own tools using the knowledge we now have about bird beaks and their adaptations.
That's true. Well, let's put on our engineering hats and get out there and find some cool tools for our favorite foods.
Title card reads Bird Beak Blueprint. Adamas filling in every box on the worksheet at 4 times the actual speed.
So for this activity, you can print out our worksheet or make your own. So for the first part, you have brainstorming your beak. You have 3 columns with 5 rows. In each row, you're going to write down your favorite foods. Then you're going to think of a bird. You can do some research. A bird that can eat those kind of foods. And finally, in the third column, you're going to draw the beak of that bird. What kind of beak do they need? So for instance, I love pizza. So do ravens. I've seen them eating it. They can tear it apart with that beak. So I'm going to draw that picture. For crushing nuts, the grosbeak's a great example. And they've got that thick beak. And now what I'm going to do is combine all 5 of those beaks into one to show what kind of bird I would need to be able to eat all my favorite foods. And then the fun part, color that beak in. And then the smart part, you're going to label the beak and show what kind of feature it has that helps it eat those foods. Like, oh, it's sharp for ripping apart pizza, or it's thick for crushing nuts. And finally, you're going to come up with a really cool patent name, like curry nutcracker.
Well, that's hilarious.
Lety and Adamas stand in front of the Ash Meadows Visitor Center.
I'm excited to see all of yours, so make sure to send all your great inventions our way to Sloan or Ash Meadows so we can send you a surprise.
Y'all come out to Ash Meadows and say hello.
Into Sloan Canyon. Hasta
Hasta
luego.
luego.
Letty and Adamas wave in front of the Ash Meadows Visitor Center. A map of Ash Meadows and Sloan Canyon in relation to the Las Vegas metro area. Ash Meadows National Wildlife Refuge Visitor Center, 8575 East Spring Meadows Road, Amargosa Valley, Nevada, 89020. Sloan Canyon National Conservation Area Visitor Contact Station, 2998 Nagapoa Road, Henderson, Nevada, 89044. U.S. Fish and Wildlife presents, in association with the Bureau of Land Management, Bird Beak Buffet, featuring Lety Santillana and Adamas Weisenfeld. Music by Adobe Premiere, Rush, and OrangeFreeSounds.com.